أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خاتم النبيين شفيع المذنبين رحمة للعالمين مولانا وسيدنا أبي القاسم محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Respected elders, brothers, sisters, Assalamu Alikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And thank you for tuning in to this latest series on a commentary or a reflection or an insight into the great supplication called Ziyarat Jamiah Kabirah. It was back in 2019, precisely 4th of August 2019, that I was sitting in Qom in the holy haram of the great lady Bibi Ma'suma, Salam alayha. And not many people know, but the Dua Kumel is very famous, of course, on Thursday evenings. Straight after the Dua Kumel, maybe after a few minutes break, most people, they move away and then another recitation starts, and that is Ziyarat Jamiah Kabirah. So in the beginning of that, it was recited by Agha Shahidi, who's a famous reciter in Qom. And he began to say, that he wished that there were more people present, because most of the people, they go away after Dua Kumel. It gets a bit late and stuff. So he was saying, I wish more people knew the power of this ziyarat and the depth of this ziyarat, and they would value it more. And I was sitting there and I made an intention at that moment. And I said, if I can, and if I have the tawfiq, and if I have the life and the energy, I will, inshallah, do something in this regard. So, alhamdulillah, this is the first session. And I wanted to explain, before we go into the actual ziyarat, what kind of series this will be and what kind of content it will be. So the first thing is that I need to make it clear what this will not be. So it's not going to be a very academic discussion. It's not going to be it's not going to have any handouts or notes or PowerPoints as such, unless there's something technical and we have to use PowerPoint just to make some things clear. Other than that, no, we won't be using anything like that. It's going to be very wilayati, inshallah, because Ziyarat Jamiah Kabirah is full of the wilaya of Ahlul Bayt. So Ahlul Bayt, alayhim salam, what is their spiritual position? What is the depth of their ma'rifat? This is what we want to look at in this series. So it's going to be very wilayati, very spiritual. It's not going to be something that we're going to say, this is very relevant, and how do we make it more relevant? No, if you're looking for that kind of discussion, then this is not it for sure. This is going to be very, very about wilaya and spirituality. And many people, when I was discussing with them that we can do something on Ziyarat Jamiah Kabirah, they would often ask me, Shaykh, tell us, how many weeks will you need? And I said, no, you need to think about not weeks but years, because it's an immense ziyarat and there's a lot to discuss. And so that's the kind of presentation it will be. Alongside this, this is not confirmed yet, but I'm thinking that alongside this presentation with the hujjat platform, we will also do a podcast. Which podcast that will be, I'm not yet sure, but we'll see in the coming days and weeks, in which we can go a little bit faster. We can cover more material, because then we're not at the mercy of breaking in between for Muharram and Jahlum and Arba'een and Ramadan and Kushalis and Wafats and these things. So it could be that we have a podcast on the side that looks into this in a much more quicker way. We'll get through a lot more material and the episodes will be a lot shorter. Now, what is our basis for this discussion? This is going to be based upon this great work. It's a masterpiece, in my opinion. This is by Ayatollah Jawadi Amuli, one of the current scholars of Shia Islam, currently in Qom. May Allah give him a long life. And he really is a very special personality. His take on things, his depth of knowledge, his way of looking at things is extremely very fresh and very in-depth. He's very philosophical as well. So he has done, at the moment, the last time I asked someone in Qom, They told me this has reached the 11th volume. So, and it's still not finished. So that's why I'm saying that, this is something going to be long, inshallah, and very much in depth. So we are going to start this now. The material is mostly taken from his work. Of course, we will add bits and bobs that we think are relevant and necessary, but most of it is going to be from his work, and we are going to look at it step by step. We won't include everything because he goes into some very philosophical discussions, which is going to take us a long time to get through and very complicated. So it's probably not for a mainstream audience. So we will avoid those. And we are going to go into the first section now, in which we are going to discuss today the words and the term Assalamu Alaikum. That is all we're going to do today. And you'll see what I mean when I say that, he's looked at things in a very, very nice way and a very deep way. So Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Qurbatan ilallah. We are doing this for the pleasure of Allah and in service to our great Imams. We will also have Q&A at the end. So if there are any questions, please do jot them down on the YouTube comments. I will be able to see those, and I will address them most likely at the end, unless there's something which I can pick up during the discussion, then I will pick it up then. Otherwise, at the end, inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu Alaikum. Now, this is a phrase that we find at the beginning of this ziyarah, and almost every single ziyarah you can think of starts with this term, Assalamu Alaikum. And not only at the beginning, you find it even throughout the ziyarats, in the middle of the ziyarats, even at the end of the ziyarats, sometimes we have this term, Assalamu Alaikum. The word salam is from the root word salima. Salima is the opposite of hostility and enmity. So salima means intense harmony, where no disagreement or quarrel is present between people. When we use it in this sense of Assalamu Alaikum, here it means safety and well-being. And essentially, when we say this, we are saying, may a sense of safety and well-being from God be upon you. So salam as a word is categorized as a tahiyya. A tahiyya is like a greeting and a prayer. Tahiyya, actually, it originates from a root which means to seek life for the person you are speaking to. Now, that can be the life of the outer self or the inner self, the physical self or the spiritual self. You are saying to someone, I seek life for you. Quran says regarding the people of paradise, it says, وَتَحِيَّتُهُمْ فِيهَا salam. Their greeting in paradise will be peace, will be salam. So what this verse suggests is that there are a number of different tahiyya that we can use. And in Arabic, they are full of these different greetings and these different du'as and phrases that people use to greet one another and to say hello or farewell to one another. But salam is the best of them. And therefore, this is the one that the people of paradise choose to be their tahiyya, their greeting. Hence, the person who is giving salam is wishing life together with well-being and safety upon the one he is addressing. In reality, this really means that we are saying Salamullahi alayka. May the peace of God be upon you, because salam is one of the beautiful names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Huwallahu alladhi la ilaha illahu al-malikul quddus salamul mu'minul muhayminul azizul jabbarul mutakabbir. So this is one of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And salam is intrinsically linked with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is not separable from him, because we have this famous dua, Allahumma anta salam wa minka salam wa laka salam wa ilayka ya'udu salam. Oh Allah, you are salam, from you originates salam, Salam is of you, it's one of your attributes, and salam returns back to you. What does this mean? When we say Allah is salam, what does that mean? It means that we declare that Allah is free and safe from any defects or imperfections. We don't attribute any defects or imperfections to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمِنْكَ salam, from you is salam, because he is the origin of all good things and positive things, and hence all manner of peace, well-being and safety originates from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلَكَ salam, he is the owner and he is the master of all the beautiful names and attributes, and hence salam is also in his hands. And when we say وَإِلَيْكَ يَعُودُ السَّلَامُ, and salam returns back to you, we mean that everything returns back to him, and he is the ultimate place of return for all matters, and all good things return back to him, as he himself says in the Holy Quran, إِلَيْهِ يَسْعَدُ الْكَلِمُ الطَّيِّبُ, to him ascends the good word. Salam is something that we see used throughout the Holy Quran. We're going to look at a few Quranic references just now to see how this word has been used and how this term has been used by Allah in the Holy Quran. First and foremost, he uses this same term to salute and bless his messengers. Salamun ala Nuhin fil alameen. Salamun ala Ibrahim. Peace be to Nuh. Peace be to Ibrahim. And then he tells even his prophets to use this same concept. فَقُولَا إِنَّا رَسُولَ رَبِّكَ. Allah commands prophets Musa and Harun to approach Fir'aun and say, we are the apostles of your Lord. فَأَرْسِلْ مَعَنَا بَنِي إِسْرَائِيل وَلَا تُعَذِّبْهُمْ. Let the children of Israel go with us and do not torture them. And then وَالسَّلَامُ عَلَى مَنِ اتَّبَعَ الْهُدَى. At the end of the verse they say, peace be upon whoever follows guidance. So Allah uses this term not only for his prophets, but also anyone who follows the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the guidance of the prophets, they are also given salam. These were for this world, but what about even in the next life? Well, in the next life again, we see the same concept of salam is present there as well. Tahiyyatuhum yawma yalqawnahu salam. The day they encounter him, their greeting will be peace. So even in the life hereafter, salam occupies a very, very important position. Furthermore, even when the mu'mineen get to the stage of just before they enter into heaven, the angels will use this same term when they welcome the people of heaven to their abode. So they say, حتى إذا جاءوها وفتحت أبوابها وقال لهم خزنتها سلام عليكم تبتم فادخلوها خالدين. That those who are wary of their Lord will be led to paradise in throngs. When they reach it, its gates are opened. Its keepers will say to them, peace be to you, you are welcome. Enter to remain forever. And even at the time of taking the souls from the bodies, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that the angels, when they come to take the soul from a pious person, from a mu'min, they use the same greeting of salam. So you can see how many different usages there are that the Holy Quran mentions for this salam. الَّذِينَ تَتَوَفَّاهُمُ الْمَلَائِكَ طَيِّبِينَ يَقُولُونَ سَلَامٌ عَلَيْكُمْ أُدْخُلُوا الْجَنَّةَ بِمَا كُنْتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ. Those whom the angels take away while they are pure, they say to them, peace be to you, enter paradise because of what you used to do. So even here, they are using the same term, the same phrase, the same tahiyya and greeting, which is salam. This is just a few of the instances. I didn't want to make it too long, so I didn't include all the different instances. But there are many, many different instances in the Quran more than what we have mentioned just now, in which this wonderful greeting of salam is mentioned. And of course, the times when we usually use this term is when we greet other mu'mineen. We can say many things. We can say many different greetings. We can say hi, hello, but no, the most best, the most exalted of all of these different greetings is to use salam. Why? Because they are very blessed and they carry a lot of meaning. We have one hadith which I wanted to narrate to you. Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam narrates from the Holy Prophet that a Muslim brother or sister has 6 rights upon his fellow Muslim brother or sister. And he says, number 1, yusallim alayhi idha laqih. The first very right that a mu'min or a Muslim has upon a fellow Muslim is that when one meets the other, he should say salam to him. وَيَعُودُهُ إِذَا. Well, the rest of them are there, but I won't go through them now. Just very briefly, the other 5 are that when he is ill, he should visit him. When he sneezes, he should pray for him. When he dies, he should participate in his funeral, and etc., etc. And of course, we all know from a young age that it's very, very much recommended that when 2 people meet, they say salam to one another. There are many rewards associated, according to the hadith. لِلسَّلَامِ سَبْعُونَ حَسَنًا. For this greeting of salam, there are 70 thawabs. تِسْعٌ وَسِتُّونَ لِلْمُبْتَدِئِ. There are 69 for the one who initiates the greeting of salam. وَوَاحِدَ لِلرَّادِ. And there's 1 reward for the one who replies. So if you say Salamun Alaikum, you get 69. And the one who says Alaikumus Salam gets 1. So very, very strong emphasis in encouraging and initiating the process of saying salam to one another. So this was the meaning of salam. Now, let's go one step further. Salam from us to those who have passed away, because now we are discussing ziyarat. Ziyarat is when we are visiting the ma'soomeen. This is our context of discussion. So we are alive. We are going to the grave or the shrine or the haram, or even when we are not in the holy lands, we are in our own homes or in our own mosques. We say salam. We recite ziyarat. So what is this now? Because now the person is not in front of us. So what does this mean? So the key thing here to remember is that we believe that the ma'soomeen, the 14 infallibles, their life and death is the same. We don't differentiate in many things between their life and death. Okay? So I'm going to cite to you what we typically read in the Izn Dukhul. You've all been on ziyarat, I'm sure. If you haven't, may Allah give you the tawfiq and may these restrictions be lifted so we can go once again. But in the Izn Dukhul, we say something very interesting. Allahumma inni a'taqidu hurmata sahibi hadha al-mashhad al-sharif. Oh Allah, I bear witness and I testify to the holiness and the sanctity of the one buried here. Fi ghaybatihi, in his absence, because today they're not in front of us, they're absent. Kama a'taqiduha fi hadratih. I believe in his holiness and in his position and his special position in front of you, in his absence, the same as if he was present today. As if he was in front of me, he had hudur, he had presence. I respect his memory, his grave, his haram, his shrine in the same way as if he was present today. وَأَعْلَمُ أَنَّ رَسُولَكَ وَخُلَفَاءَكَ عَلَيْهِمُ السَّلَامُ أَحْيَاءٌ عِنْدَكَ. And I know that your Prophet and his successors, may peace be upon them, are all alive. أَحْيَاءٌ عِنْدَكَ يُرْزَقُونَ. And they are seeking sustenance from you. يَرَوْنَ مَقَامِ. They see me here standing. وَيَسْمَعُونَ كَلَامِ. They hear my words. وَيَرُدُّونَ salami, and I'm saying salam to them, and I know that they are replying to me. وَأَنَّكَ حَجَبْتَ عَنْ سَمْعِ كَلَامَهُمْ, except that my senses are blocked from hearing their reply. So we believe that essentially their spiritual position is not affected by life and death. Their physical position, obviously, because they're not physically amongst us, but their spiritual position is not affected by life and death as such. We also have the following from Imam Ali alayhi salam, who narrates again from the Holy Prophet, Yamutu man mata minna wa laysa bimayyit. Whoever from us dies, dies, but in reality, he is not dead. Now, this raises a question. What does this life of the Imams mean? When we say we believe that their death and life is very similar, and in their spiritual position, we usually don't differentiate. We still visit them and we still respect them and love them. But what does this life mean? What kind of life are we talking about? So there are two possibilities which I want to mention first before coming on to the third possibility, which is what Ayatollah Jawadi mentions. Some people, they may think, well, when we say that they have life, maybe that means that actually we have a memory of them. History has recorded what they have done. People have recorded their actions and their words. So maybe when we say that they have life now and they are alive, maybe it means that through their memory, they have not died. Okay? Another opinion is, no, maybe because every human being has a soul, and these Imams, obviously they had souls, and the soul never dies. So maybe that's what it means, that we say you are alive, you hear me, you see me, etc. Maybe it means that your soul has not perished. Ayatollah Jawadi says, no, both of these are wrong. These cannot be the kind of life that we are talking about. He says there is a third option. He says the life that when we talk about the Imam's life, it is a very special kind of life, linked closely to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because He is one who will never die. And it is reserved for certain mu'mineen who are very special, certain people who are very special. Otherwise, in the other two meanings that we have just dismissed, these could also apply to non-imams. It could apply to anyone of any religion. It could apply to kuffar, could apply to non-believers. A non-believer who has done something good, we can still remember them. Does that mean that they have this life of the imams? A non-believer also has a soul. So does that mean we want to attribute the same thing to the imams? No. Ayatollah Jawadi says this is a third category, a third type of life. It's a special kind of life which Allah reserves for very special people. Okay? Now, the obvious reference to this is in the Holy Quran. If you look at Surah Al-Baqarah, verse number 154, Allah says the following, وَلَا تَقُولُوا لِمَنْ يُقْتَلْ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ أَمْوَاتٍ. Do not call those who were slain in Allah's way dead. بَلْ أَحْيَاءٌ وَلَكِنْ لَا تَشْعُرُونَ. Rather, they are living, but you are not aware. So what Ayatollah Jawadi says is that this is a special kind of life which maybe we can't understand properly. We are not aware of it fully. The other two we can understand. But this verse says this is a kind of life that you will not be able to comprehend fully. So he says it can't be the other two just by this verse, because those two we can understand. But here Allah is saying that it's a life which you will not be able to fully understand. Now, this verse is about whom? Well, this verse is about the ones killed in the way of Allah, the martyrs, the ones who have given their lives fighting in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah says that they have life with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So now we ask a question. We say, these are martyrs. They may have come to Islam late. They may have done things in their life in previous years or months. They may have sinned. So if martyrs in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can have this kind of life, then our imams, who were at the pinnacle of every kind of fadilat, every kind of amazing quality and attribute that you can find in a human being, is found in our imams, not at just a normal level, but at the highest pinnacle of its level. So therefore, if a martyr can be having special kind of life with God, our imams definitely, being 1,000,000 times more than any martyr, they can definitely have a high spiritual station near Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they surpass all martyrs and all other people. And therefore, we can accord them this position of life. Okay? Some other evidence. Ayatollah Jawadi goes into this in a little bit of detail. He says that there are numerous reports that we have from Ahlul Bayt which point to this very same thing. Number one, the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says, "Man zarani ba'da wafati kana kaman zarani fi hayati." One who visits me after my death is like one who has visited me in my life. وَكُنْتُ لَهُ شَهِيدًا وَشَافِعًا يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. And I will be a witness for him and an interceder for him on the day of judgment. Another one is a very interesting report. I had not come across this report before, but this is regarding the great companion Abu Dharr. Abu Dharr, on one occasion, he sought out the Holy Prophet. And he was told, the Holy Prophet is not here. He's in such and such place in a garden, and you'll find him there. So Abu Dharr went, and he found that the Holy Prophet was sitting in a corner of the garden, and he was asleep. Abu Dharr decided to test the Holy Prophet. He said, I wonder, is he really sleeping or is he just resting? Let me just test this. So he gets a stick and he breaks the stick into two. And when you do that, as you know, there's a small click sound. So when he hears this snap sound, he said, if the Holy Prophet is awake, he will open his eyes because he'll think, what was that sound? And if he's asleep, he'll open his eyes. So I will get his attention in this way and I'll test exactly what's going on with him. So he makes that sound. And the Holy Prophet then, the Holy Prophet awakes and he looks at Abu Dharr and he says, Ya Aba Dharr, O Abu Dharr, are you trying to test me? Ama alimta anni ara a'malakum. Are you not aware that I see your deeds fi manami, when I'm asleep, kama arakum fi yaqdati, the same way that I see them during my wakefulness. So he's saying, Abu Dharr, there's no difference here. You want to see if I'm awake or asleep, but I know what you're doing anyway. Inna aini tanaman. Yes, my eyes sleep. Wala yanamu qalbi, but my heart doesn't sleep. Okay? So very interesting that the Holy Prophet declares to Abu Dharr that, whether I'm asleep or not, you don't need to worry. My alertness and my awareness is there. So the Imams are witnesses and observers. Okay, so this is a special discussion which may come up later on during the ziyarat. We'll go into it in more depth, but just in brief, Imams have this special position that they are witnesses and observers of the deeds of the universe, what's happening in the world, what people are doing. And they will be called upon on the day of judgment to give this witness. Now, why? Well, this is an honor which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives them. He gives them this wonderful honor that they are witnesses for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Of course, He doesn't need witnesses, but this is just an honor and a respect that they are given, and they will be given very, very special status. So with all of these things combined, we say that actually the Imams, they are alive in one sense, even though they have passed away from this world through death, but they are still alive near Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, more so than anyone killed in the way of Allah, because they have the pinnacle of closeness with God, and therefore He grants them this wonderful type of life. Another thing, just to finish off our discussion, another thing that I wanted to mention is that many people say, well, when we say salam to the imams, do they reply? And then I've heard some scholars and some people, they often say, well, Quran says that if someone greets you, you must greet them back. So it's wajib upon them to reply to you. This needs to be clarified a little bit. We should never say these kinds of things, okay? They have passed away from this world in a physical sense. So now there's no more wajib upon them to reply to these things, okay? The same way as if you go for the ziyarat. Now, let's say someone going for the ziyarat starts doing something haram near their shrine or near their zari. Would you expect the imam to do amr bil maruf to that person? You wouldn't expect, because now they've passed away. Those ahkam of being in this world no longer apply. Okay, so we shouldn't ever say that it's wajib upon them to reply, because when you say salam to someone, they have to say salam back. No, that's not a good argument. But we say yes, they do reply, but not in a fiqhi sense, not because they're obligated to in that fiqhi sense, but they reply because the more ma'rifat, the more closeness, the more integration your heart has with their heart, your soul has with their soul, they will reply accordingly. So they will reply to people. But it depends on what type of person you are and the type of salam you send and how much quality that has. It depends on the extent of the cleanliness of your soul. So some people, it will take the form of forgiveness of sins, of shafa'at. Their reply will be shafa'at for you, divine grace upon you, praying for you, blessing you, helping you. Okay, of course, with the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And on top of all this, yes, some have been very, very lucky that they actually hear a verbal reply. And we have instances of this through certain personalities in history and certain scholars, that when they would say salam, they would actually hear a kind of reply. Now, that's not a physical voice. I don't think we should say that, but it's more a deep grace, a level of respect. And yes, they may hear it in their souls that the imam has replied to them. And we pray that we are amongst that group who can, first of all, visit our imams and then also hear their replies to our salams. So this is now the end of the first session on Assalamu Alikum. And the next session, we will cover the next part of this great ziyarat when we say Ya Ahla Baytin Nubuwa. This will be our next discussion, inshallah. So the way it will work is that we are going to have 4 sessions in total, and there will probably be a podcast on the side, as I mentioned. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Now, just to go on to the questions which are coming in on the YouTube comments. If you would like to ask a question or make a comment or a suggestion or anything, please do so. One sister has asked, where can we find that short dua on salam with meaning, please? So if you just bear with me. So this is in Mafatihul Jinan and in other books of du'as. You'll find it in the section of the du'as after namaz. So Mafati has different sections. One section is on the du'as after each namaz, which are separate, but there's one section on du'as which are commonly to be recited after any namaz. Du'a-hay mushtarake, the du'as which are shared between different namazes. You can recite them after any namaz. And this is there in Mafati. Inshallah, you'll be able to find it. Another question, when is it highly recommended to recite this ziyarah? I would say that if possible, recite a ziyarah every day. It doesn't have to be Jamiah Kabirah. It can be Aminullah, it can be Warith, it can be Ashura, it can be Arba'een, it can be the shorter ones, the longer ones. It's up to you. In fact, every day of the week has one ziyarat attached to it. Okay. So if you look in Mafati again, you'll see that, for example, on Friday, it's the day of our 12th Imam, Ajalallahu Ta'ala Faraja. So his ziyarat is there. Saturday is the Holy Prophet. Sunday is Imam Ali and Bibi Fatima. Monday is Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein, etc. And the days of the week are separated and sectioned to each one or group of our Imams. So you can recite that. So every day recite one ziyarat. This particular ziyarat, typically it's recited on Thursday evenings, but if you can't, then you can choose another day. I won't stress too much about the day that you recite it, but just if you can recite it, honestly, I would say congratulations, you've done a great thing. Another question from a brother, is there a better form of greeting than salam? Well, according to Ayatollah Jawadi, no. According to Ayatollah Jawadi, the verse in the Holy Quran, which is وَتَحِيَّتُهُمْ فِيهَا salam, the reference is Surah Yunus, which is Surah number 10, verse number 10, so 10:10. Ayatollah Jawadi says that this suggests that there are a number of different greetings, but the best of them is salam, because the people of heaven will only choose the best. وَتَحِيَّتُهُمْ فِيهَا salam. So he says this is the best of all of the different greetings and all of the different tahiyya. If there are any more questions, then please keep them coming. Okay, looks like that's it. So inshallah, we'll continue next time, a week from now, same time, same place. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.